Only God is truly good. There comes a moment after enough striving when a person finally notices they can't outwork the heart. We try and we wake up early to conquer ourselves. We build routines, disciplines, and rules, small ladders leaning towards heaven, and we promise to be kinder today, more patient today, and less selfless today. And for a few hours, it almost feels true. But then someone speaks carelessly, someone ignores us, or someone wounds the place we thought we had healed, and suddenly the goodness we were performing, it evaporates. And it's not because we are monsters, but because goodness was never manufactured by effort. We can behave well by effort. We can try to love, but we cannot become love by effort. There's a huge difference. Behavior is held by tension, and love is held by the nature of the individual. So we tighten ourselves like a clenched fist around the soul, trying to squeeze the virtue out of willpower. We measure our reactions, we monitor our tone, we even rehearse our forgiveness in our thoughts. Yet deep down we feel it, that there is a distance between acting love and actually loving. And the more honest a person becomes, the more uncomfortable the realization grows. We cannot make ourselves pure by trying harder. And only God is good. And the words I'm saying are often hard as accusation because they are meant as rescue. Because if goodness depended on our strength, then love would vanish the moment we had tried, and mercy would end the moment we were hurt. But look carefully at your life. How often is your kindness simply exhausted? How often is your patience just waiting for anger to give its permission to express itself? We polish the outer self while the inner self remains hungry, and hunger cannot feed hunger. The world tells us to improve ourselves, to refine personality, to perfect our reactions, and to become admirable. But admiration is not redemption. A mirror cannot heal a wound, no matter how clearly it reflects it. So we stand in front of ourselves year after year, trying to repair the soul with the very same instrument that fractured it, our isolated will. Then comes the strange invitation of this weird thing called surrender. And it's not collapse, it's not being passive, and it's not giving up on personal growth, but releasing the idea that goodness originates in us. The branch does not strain to produce fruit, it remains connected. And then fruit appears as a consequence of its relationship with one another. What if love is not a task, but a current? What if peace is not a skill, but a calm presence? When a person stops asking, how can I become good enough? And then begins asking, how can I remain open enough? Then something internally changes. You soften. You notice moments where patience arrives before you can construct it. Words of gentleness from without rehearsal. Forgiveness appears not as moral heroism, but as a quiet understanding. You almost feel surprised by yourself because it is not you in the old sense. It is goodness moving through you, and instead of being produced by you. Like wind through a field, the grass does not generate the breeze, yet it still dances with it. Surrender is allowing the soul to become permeable. We spend our lives armoring the heart to maintain control over who we are. But love, it requires a doorway. And every time we insist, I'll be good, the door tightens just slightly more. The ego wants authorship of virtue. It wants to say, I did the righteousness, I achieved the purity, I maintained the patience. Yet the strange mystery remains, the moments we are most beautiful feels the least self-centered. We remember them differently. A time we comforted someone and the words given seemed weird. A time we forgive before resentment could speak. A time we felt compassion where we expected judgment. And afterward, we would think to ourselves, I don't know what came over me, but that's exactly it. Grace came over you. And for a minute, you stopped blocking it. Only God is good means goodness is not absent from us. It is uninterrupted through us. But interruption is our specialty. It's the ego's specialty. We interfere with love through fear, through pride, through the need to defend an identity. We protect the self and lose the soul. So surrender becomes the narrow gate. Not becoming nothing, but becoming transparent. Not erasing personality, but removing ownership. You still speak, you still act, and you still choose, yet the source from which you move from shifts. Instead of asking, when reaction protects me, you begin to sense what response allows me to actually love. And often it feels gentler than your instinct, yet stronger than your impulse. It does not humiliate you, it doesn't inflate you, it simply moves you. Over time, a quiet freedom grows internally. You no longer need to prove you are good. You no longer need to remain open to goodness. And strangely, this humility produces more real virtue than years of moral self-construction, because the burden lifts off of you. You are not the sun trying to shine. You are the window, learning not to close. Perhaps this is why the most loving people rarely speak of their goodness. They experience themselves less as creators and more of a witness of love. Love passes through them like light through clear water, and the world, starving for warmth, calls them kind, not because they perfected themselves, but because they stopped claiming that they are the light. So maybe hope for humanity does not rest in stronger discipline or sharper self-control. Maybe it rests in surrender, in brave people to release authorship of virtue and become places where God can be gentle again. And only God is good. And when we finally accept this without shame and without the resistance, without the self-defense and armor, we discover goodness was never far away. We were just simply standing in front of it. Step aside and allow love, because it begins in you.